You go down and then you go up to make it better, make it better. Down on the ground, it's just one way up. Make it better, make it better. If you stand by me, I will stand by you. To make it better, make it better.
Good afternoon and welcome to Manhattan Neighborhood Network, Rise Up with Rebecca Seawright, coming to you live from the Upper East Side. And today we have a very informative program, a nonprofit called the New York Foundation for Senior Citizens that have two wonderful guests joining us. I want to thank in advance our viewers for tuning in. According to our New York State Controller, more older adults are calling New York City home than ever before. Seniors are also faced with some of the greatest financial challenges of the day, including unemployment, healthcare expenses, as 1/3 of the city's oldest population is also living with a disability. As an assembly member and chair of the Aging Committee, I have the largest population of seniors in my 76th district anywhere in Manhattan. So I'm very pleased to be chairing the Aging Committee and to have our guests on the show today. So we have Linda Hoffman, who is the president and CEO of the New York Foundation for Senior Citizens. In 1978, Linda Hoffman served as the president and CEO of the foundation, the only nonprofit, non-sectarian organization serving older adults throughout the city's 5 boroughs. Armed with a Master of Social Work from Columbia University, she joined the organization when it only provided grants and no housing or social services. She has spearheaded tremendous growth for the New York Foundation for Senior Citizens from its humble beginnings with one bookkeeper into a world-class organization with over 1,500 employees. They have also developed and managed 35 social service programs administered by licensed master social workers. These include the home sharing, respite care, home attendant services, consumer-directed personal assistance, CDPAP, case management, home repairs and safety audits, access to home, older adult home modification, Project Cart Free, transportation services, virtual programs, and 3 senior citizen centers. We also have joining Linda Barbara Baer, Director of the Home Sharing Program. She's a distinguished figure in public policy and social work and has dedicated her career to advocating for older adults and affordable housing. As Program Director for the Foundation's free home sharing program, Barbara works to keep older adults in their homes and communities. And just this past few months, she testified in February at the Assembly Senate Joint Budget Ways and Means hearing. And so we thank you, Barbara, for traveling to Albany and conducting that testimony, and Linda, for all of your distinguished service and career over the years in this program, and a former member of Community Board 8, which I will point out is so important. So we're going to get started today, and I'll ask Linda to give us a little introduction of how far you've come with this nonprofit organization and how critical it is to receive funding from the legislature and other sources.
Well, first of all, Rebecca, I want to thank you personally for all of your strong support of New York Foundation for Senior Citizens. We've come a long way. We started out with no programs, no housing, no services, and we, as you said, have now grown to 10 buildings, which we've developed and which we manage, and over 35 social service programs. And of course, one of the programs that's nearest and dearest to me, and I know you, Rebecca, is our home sharing and respite care program, about which I will speak more if you ask me anytime about. Also, I should mention one program that was not mentioned, and that is we have a community guardian program along with all of the other programs that you did mention. How did we start? We started with no programs, no services. My husband had to pay the rent in the beginning. When the board hired me, they said they wanted me to build buildings. And at that time, as now, one of the top priority needs of older New Yorkers has been housing. And lo and behold, I'm a social worker, and I thought to myself, what is our board of directors smoking? Why, in fact, would they think I would know how to build a building? Well, somehow I fumbled through it and built the first building on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Since then, we've built 6 buildings total in Manhattan, 2 in Brooklyn, 1 in Queens, and 1 in the Bronx. So somehow we figured it all out. And as we did the easy part, we grew from the small program that was state funded called Enriched Housing for the Frail Elderly, which we started over in Phipps Houses years ago and then moved into our own buildings as time went on and as we built other buildings. And that's a program that helps the frail elderly remain within their own homes and the communities by providing services within the building that we've developed and as an alternative to nursing home care. So each time we move forward, we were able to encompass more and more social service programs as well as housing. One of the lovely services that we're providing on the Upper East Side, by the way, is called Project CART, which is a transportation program and free for people over the age of 60, totally free of charge. It's funded by the New York City Department for the Aging. So this has evolved as, proposals have been written and they've been approved. We've got home care, as you said, as I mentioned, guardianship and home repairs, home safety audits. And it goes on and on. I don't want to repeat all of the programs that you mentioned, Rebecca.
And thank you, Linda. And Barbara, I know you were instrumental in coming before the Ways and Means hearing this legislative session to testify on the budget and some of the programs that are so important. Could you talk to us a little bit about the Aging in Place and some of the testimony that you gave in Albany that was so critical to increasing funding for various programs?
Yes, thanks for having us. I believe that the most humane and cost-effective way to deal with the aging population, and I believe that's what seniors want, especially from answering the phone at the foundation, is that they be allowed to stay in their homes. And what I said was that the New York Foundation is one of the primary foundations that actually enables people to stay in their home with all the programs. And in a sense, home sharing is the sort of symbol and vortex of the kinds of programs that we get. And simply stated, seniors, especially senior women who've worked all their lives, but because of they're not being pay equity, and B, because many of them stayed home, at the end of their lives, after doing all this, women maybe have $1,100 total Social Security. In some cases, they never had children. In some cases, their children are deceased. Therefore, they really have no one. And they end up with this $1,100 for food, clothing, and whatever else. And what I said is that our program costs peanuts and is cost effective. I use the word peanuts because I was sitting next to several powerful women who were calling for millions of dollars. And I thought, my gosh, we're so cost efficient, $4,000 for a placement for a person, and then it's off the tax rolls. And we really are keeping people in an affordable, safe place. We're giving the host, by dint of the guest contribution money, so that they can keep their apartment and we're giving the guest an affordable place. So housing is really, if you think about it, it's the essence of our safety, and it's the essence of where we begin our social life and our network and our doctors and how we deal with the last years of our lives. So home sharing provides an opportunity for all those people. And what I said is, if we had more money, we could expand. And it's really a very inexpensive program for the government to fund.
Right, right. And that's so important for my colleagues and leadership in Albany to understand, that cost sharing analysis and what is beneficial and ultimately what the senior prefers. And many prefer to stay in their home. Can you both talk to us a little bit about what you think is the number one most pressing issue with the aging population today?
Absolutely housing. I mean, if you don't have decent housing and you don't have your health, what else is there to enjoy in life? And we find these people who are calling us day after day with, tear-wrenching stories about either being on the verge of foreclosure, eviction, how they have not enough money because the rent is increasing, and the salvation that we're able to provide to them to be able to remain in New York City and afford to remain in New York City, stay at home and avoid institutionalization, which is key. And nursing homes and homeless shelters, and this is what we've been doing. And you hear these stories, and once we match people, for example, in home sharing, they are so grateful because they really knew that they could have been out on the streets if not, or in an institution. And we've also found that these services are, by preventing institutionalization, are saving the city and the state funding and Medicaid and other expenses. So it's a win-win for everyone. And here there are so many vacant rooms where large apartments in the city where children have moved out and seniors might be lonely and seniors are having trouble living on fixed incomes. This is a way to solve all of these problems.
Right, right. And so do you see this program practiced in other states, or is it mainly in New York?
So there was just an article in AARP on their website regarding the national need for this service. And I think there are very few programs like it. There certainly are none in New York City. And there are very few programs like it in the country. It's very hard to raise funding to provide for it. And also, it's also a program that you have to be very careful in administering securely. And we have found the way in which to ensure that nothing bad happens, that we're not matching people just by making it like a dating service.
Barbara, what can you tell us about funding streams? And in Albany, I know the governor has come out with a $45 million investment for the aging. And so you've been at this a long time. Whenever I mention Barbara and Linda's names around Albany, everybody knows you and has known both of you for years and years. You're giants in the field, true champions. But what do you see as one of the strongest challenges in Albany? Is it making the legislators aware that these services are so critically needed in their communities, or what do you think?
Well, I think it's a combination of a couple of things, and you're absolutely right. First, thank God for you. And second of all, it's making all the legislators aware, and that's hard. I certainly understand there's a lot on everyone's plate, and when you come for $250,000, in a funny way, one is not taken as seriously as if we walked in for 25 million, because then, oh my gosh. So one is the understanding, and then two, is reaching out to all the localities. And then 3 is having a great 2 chairs, you and Cordell Claire. And 4 is really hoping that the governor, for all the things on her plate, would be able to fund us a little bit more, or peanuts in terms of her budget. And so all of those things come together. And then for the people listening, if you're the least bit interested in home sharing, it would really help us if you would call your local official, your state senator or assembly person, and say, gosh, I heard about home sharing. It seems like a really good thing. It might be great for Middletown, New York, or for Rochester or Syracuse. I don't understand why you don't do it. And I don't think anybody's opposed to it. I don't think it has negative high ratings. I think it has, well, we really haven't thought about it. And we have so many other needs in our district that we haven't pushed that. And so anybody who would call and ask on our behalf, it would be great. I'm sure you look at the phone call sheet and see who called on what issue, and all those things would be great. So, and if we could just grow statewide, and perhaps just the first is the 5 cities, we could really be a model and example of how it would work, and it would go from rural to suburban to, the big cities. And there are different needs in different places. In a county like Livingston County upstate, or Sullivan County not so far upstate, there's a lot of people who have little houses, and a lot of them, the kids have left, and mom is in general living alone, and she could use a bit of companionship and a little bit of contribution, and it would make sense. So every time we put 2 people together, we've built a roof. And when I see, it's great that you're sending all this money down to New York City for affordable housing, but it's going to take years. And this is immediate. So this can be a bridge for 3 years while somebody waits for their affordable housing, but it really helps, and it should expand. But for all those reasons, it hasn't.
And it's important to
you-
add that Rebecca, I'm sorry, but it's very safe. And I think the difference between what we're doing, and if you take a look at the AARP article on our website, some people are trying to do it on their own. Some have done it on the internet. This is very, very professionally and carefully vetted. And we are not matching people just for the sake of matching them to make points for anyone. We're doing it to help people who are appropriate for matching to have better lives and to remain safe and to enjoy life in the community and avoid institutionalization. It's really, really safe because of the staff that's working on this, which is key. That they're all licensed master social workers who really understand personality types and needs, and know whether or not they're appropriate for home sharing.
And do you have a partnership with universities where you would partner a university student who's come to, say, New York City, has no place to live, the dorms are full, or their institution doesn't have a dorm, where they would participate in home sharing with a senior?
Yes, we do intergenerational all the time, surely. One of the 2 in every match must be a person over the age of 60. And we match men and women, younger and older. We match all religions, ethnic groups, doesn't matter. Whatever is appropriate. It's all voluntary. We don't charge a fee, and we're doing it because there is such a great need. Again, the top priority need for seniors in New York City and probably New York State is affordable housing. And this is really affordable housing.
It sure is. It sounds like a wonderful, absolutely wonderful program.
The other component, the respite care component of our service, is really also something that is so important now to caregivers, especially because there are caregivers, as you know, throughout the city and state. They are the unsung heroes. They're not paid for what they're doing. It's exhausting. It's time consuming. Very often the caregiver ends up being behind the eight ball, more so even than the care recipient. And we provide care for people above the Medicaid level who are on Medicare, who don't get free Medicaid home care at $19.10 an hour. We do it free of charge ourselves. The funds go to the home care workers who we carefully vet and make sure that they're appropriate. They're all certified New York State home care workers. And it really saves lives, and again keeps the frail elderly out of institutionalization, along with all the
Terrific.
other programs. By the way, we have a really exciting new service, and we have a home repair program citywide for homeowners and co-op owners, apartment dwellers, minor home repair program where we go into the homes of seniors and do minor home repairs free of charge. Now, the state has provided funding for us to provide more substantial home repairs where we have people who are significantly handicapped and who require, say, bathtubs lowered, or, so that they can roll in showers, roll in bathtubs, lowering of cabinets and closets and railings, grab bars, etc., in order to assist people to remain at home. And we just found out that we are also receiving a third repair program for older adults, which is similar to the substantial repairs, which is for all ages, adults and young people of all ages. So that is another service that is helping people to remain at home and avoid institutionalization.
And is there a long wait list for a senior to be in the Project Cart Free Transportation Service?
Not at all. No,
Mhm.
just a. I guess I can also give the phone number. Phone call as long as they live in Manhattan and they are over the age of 60.
And do they get a person that goes with them? Like say they're going to a doctor's appointment.
Yeah. Yes,
Person will.
you can take a companion, even if they're younger, as long as they're an aide or
What if
whoever.
they don't? What if they don't have one? Does the cart service provide an assistant to go with them, say to a medical appointment?
No, but we can provide a respite care worker to come out. And by the way, respite care is also for people who are alone, who are struggling on their own to remain in the community. Men whose wives have passed away often and don't know how to cook and shop and do the house type cleaning type of work that women seem to do more than men. And the individuals who need this, may, for example, have to go to the hospital, and an ambulance comes. Their bed is unmade. Food may have gone bad in the refrigerator. No one who's going to take them home once they get discharged, and who's going to help them when they get home.
Right.
We provide home care workers who can do this at $19.10 an hour, which is paid directly to the home care worker. Whereas if they went to an agency, it would be between $35 and $40 or more an hour to go to an agency, because we don't charge for the service. The home care workers, this is their usual rate if they were working for a home care agency. The for-profits add profit to what they're doing. So I learned this a long time ago when I was told by the head of research at the Department for the Aging that even though there are all of these agencies that are for-profits, when you look them up online now, used to be in the phone book, Yellow Pages, that they are that we are able to, the only ones in the city of New York that are providing this service. And in fact, one of our board members and I were checking something in California. It's San Francisco. And we called California to find out. And they said, oh, we charge $50 an hour for home care. And and we were so surprised. And I said, well, is there anyone who does what we do? I explained. I said, are you sitting on a chair? Because you're going to fall off it when I tell you what we're charging. And of course, I told them $19.10 an hour. And they said, that's impossible. That's impossible.
Beck is the leader on so many fronts. Yes.
And you know, we didn't realize it ourselves. And at our last
Right.
board meeting, this board member told the story because he needed it for someone in his family. And we were totally shocked. We realized that we might be the only respite care service of its type on earth.
Wow.
We had no
Wow.
idea.
Yes, only in New York. How can people reach you? Your website, your phone number, if you could state for our viewers how people
Yes.
can get in contact.
Our phone number is 212-962-7559. Again, 212-962-7559. And our website is pretty easy. It's easier if I tell you, if you look up New York Senior Citizens, it will pop right up. So if you don't get this, it is though, NYFSC.org, NYFSC.org.
Fabulous. And unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I want to thank you both for coming on today. And also our viewers can contact our office. We have a storefront community office right next to the post office on York Avenue between 78th and 79th. And we can also hook you up with this foundation. Our number is 212-288-4607. And thank you, ladies, for your leadership and for all that you're doing for our seniors and with this fabulous nonprofit. I appreciate, again, all that you're doing to inform legislators this session on how important it is to continue to fund this and to allocate even more funding in our state budget. So thanks again for coming on, and to our viewers, thanks for tuning in.